I wanna be a billionaire. I ain't getting no sleep till I see $1 million every week. I wanna be a billionaire. I ain't getting no sleep till I see $1 billion every week. I wanna be a billionaire. Billionaire. I wanna be a billionaire. Billionaire. I wanna.
Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Sleep is for Billionaires, the podcast. I am your host, Johnny Vegas. Now today, I got a very special guest on my show. This man is a street ball legend. I've definitely idolized this man coming up, trying to do his moves myself, but never really perfected it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the main man, Bone Collector.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Oh, man, thank you for doing this, brother. I truly appreciate you, man. Definitely, man. So how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Loving LA, but except for the weather's a little weird right now. Cold, like we in New York almost.
Yeah. I'm used to it, man. I'm originally from New York, from the Bronx, you know. But then I came to Tampa, Florida. I was there for 12 years, so you could tell I got immune to the sun quick.
Yeah, you got immune to that quick.
Yeah. But now I'm here, and it's like, well, hold on. I left all my sweaters and jackets in Florida, so now I'm like, Mom, mail that back. Mail that back to me.
You need those right now. Yeah, that's what's up, man.
That's what's up, man. So yeah, man. So I'm glad you're doing this today, man. I just wanted to get some information from you. You know, there's a lot of kids out there that look up to you, that want to know your moves, and I know you're progressing behind the scenes. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. So, but first of all, where are you originally from?
I'm originally born in Texas, raised in Pasadena, California. My dad brought us out here when I was about in first grade. So from that moment on, I just embraced that Cali experience and mentality. And then I had the privilege of living in New York for about 7 years after spending my high school years here. So I lived in Harlem, Polo Grounds for about 7 years.
Where exactly in Harlem?
Polo Grounds.
Oh, okay. I didn't spend too much time in Harlem.
155th and 8th Avenue.
See, right? That's New York talk right there. That's when you can tell somebody from New York. Yeah, I'm from 125th and St. Nick. When you say Polo Ground, I'm like, okay. That sounds like the Poconos.
You know, 155th and 8th Avenue. What makes that significant to my actual, legacy, because the Rucker Park is right across the street from where I stayed. You know, put two things together. I'm always practicing. It made me an animal on the court.
That's what's up. So you played Rucker.
So I played Rucker 5 years. I got MVP every year.
Congrats.
I averaged 30-something points a game. It was one of those life-changing experiences, because at the time, street ball was on a high scale. So AND1 was being watched more than the NBA at the time. So even though I never played AND1, when you say the name Bone Collector, people always associate that with AND1.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think it brought it opened a lot of eyes to new ways to handle that ball. So that whole experience, my childhood being West Coast, East Coast, I kind of combined it all into what I'm doing now.
Yeah, it's crazy because now that you mentioned it, Rucker and AND1, I thought it was one and the same, because I saw players from AND1 playing in Rucker.
The original players from Rucker are the AND1 players.
Exactly.
Man and Future.
Yeah, Rafer.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So how was it growing up in Cali, man? Because, back in the day, how you hear the crack era, gangs and all that. How was that coming up? Like, trying to avoid distraction to get where you at today?
It was tough. I'm just being transparent. You find yourself in situations that you don't want to be in, and you have to get your way out of them. And I believe mental health is a big, issue nowadays that is not being, spoken on. But growing up in Cali, you learn to strengthen your mind. Mental health was practiced when I was, that's the 80s, 90s, because we weren't in an era of, I would believe, social influence.
Right.
We were in an era of, if you even knew a celebrity back when I was young, you wouldn't probably even go up to him, because we really believed in my mom instilled in us, stay away from strangers, that mentality. So it was a life-changing for me, because obviously Pasadena's in between LA and all these surrounding cities. There's gang influence all through it. In order to maneuver out of it, it was one of those things where you got to kind of look at the glass half empty. You have to say, well, this is what I'm dealing with. I have to get that out of there and put new things there. So that's how I chose to get through mine. It wasn't easy. I mean, I got incarcerated, I've been shot and all kinds of stuff. But it's just those are the things that I think that are important for kids to know now. I chose to be a bad person at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are choices. You're not being good is a natural feeling. You know, helping someone is natural.
Right.
You know, hurting someone is what takes effort.
Right.
So I chose to use that effort. So in hindsight, God has allowed me to reverse that process where the kids, I can explain to them, hey, you shouldn't say certain gang terminology because these people are really gang members and they'll take it a certain way. Or you shouldn't promote certain things because these people will see it a certain way and they'll react to you a certain way, cause and effect.
Right.
So this, in podcasts like this is where I have the opportunity to explain those things. And California is, you know, you see it on TV as the Wild Wild West, and it literally is like that.
Wow, man. I'm glad it sounds like all your trials and tribulations made you a stronger man, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And you're definitely fulfilling your purpose, you know what I'm saying? So that's good. So, you know, during those times, was basketball your first dream? Like, did you always want to be a baller, or did you want to be something else before you?
I never wanted to go to the NBA or any of that. I was more of an artist. I drew all of this stuff.
Oh yeah, me too, man. I used to look at stuff and draw.
Yeah. So I'm actually going back to school for art after I'm done playing, which will be never, because I'm never gonna stop.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you're done playing.
But you know, art, music. You know, I rap. I'm nice, super nice at rapping.
Oh yeah.
Super nice.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see.
Well, so, you know, those particular hobbies in general, but the music side of it, just, you know, later on hobby as you get involved in music and you start to like get freestyle a little bit. And then, you know, the art was really something that I was like passionate about because I was always one of those kids who wanted to unlock the mind.
Right.
So I'd take a stick and a leaf and a string and I'd make that a person somehow. You know, I'd make that a character that can move around and walk, and so art was that for me. I could take what I'm thinking and put it on a piece of paper, and it makes sense to me. So I think that's
cool.
Yeah, that embrace of, you know, even those hobbies probably connected with the sport too. Basketball, you know, opened my mind.
Right. So at what point in time did you pick up the basketball? Like when was this? What age were you? What were you going through that you just say, I want to play ball?
When I was, I didn't pick up a ball. My dad introduced me to the game when I was about 4 or 5 years old, and he took me out to the court with him, and he would just make me work on basic stuff, pick and roll, set a screen, cut to the basket hard. I didn't know what he was doing, but it was just, he was basically making me a pro as a baby. So I never really, you know, the first 2 years I played, I didn't really dribble the ball that much because he only taught defense. He didn't teach me anything else. So cause he said, you're the smallest player on the court. They're not gonna pick you unless you can guard everybody.
Right.
So forget about scoring. If you get 3 steals a game, then you're gonna be the first person picked because you're gonna be the person that can guard their best person.
Right.
Even if you get shook, they know you on them. So that mentality was instilled in me. So by the time I was able, he gave me the ball to do something with it. He showed me different things, different tools and mechanisms that would work. And, you know, gave me 3 specific goals. I won't tell you what they are, but
that's a secret.
those three specific goals created my game that you see today. Yep.
That's good, man. They say a magician never tells his tricks, so that's what's up, man. I like that. Okay, so now you're playing ball. You know, your dad introduced you. You got nice, and then you kind of just started, you know, getting your name known in the street by just crossing people up and stuff like that.
Well, I got the name Bone Collector from New York in Record Park.
Okay, that was your first name?
No, my original nickname is on this side of my neck. It's Speedy. And it was given to me by my mother because I was fast, you know, just in running. And then, so the actual, you know, the technical nickname Bone Collector is actually a movie. And with Denzel Washington and Angelina Jolie. So when I was in New York in 2001, a friend of mine, Dave Seals, called me in the middle of the night because I had already been torturing everybody, making people fall and all kinds. So New York was buzzing, but it wasn't internet. So it was actually
the streets.
The internet is a big way to promote, but the streets buzz is way different. Like you go somewhere and they talking about you in the Bronx, and you just played in Philly, and it done reached all the way to the Bronx. That means all that space in between. How did it get there? Right. You got to think about that. That's word of mouth is a very powerful thing. So, you know, with that being said, you know, I embraced that name. He called me, and you know, saying, you know, I think I got a great name for you, Bone Collector. And I was like, it was corny to me at the beginning. I was like, man, you're not calling me that.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, then I was thinking about it, because the day before I just made somebody break their arm. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So the next day in the park, Hannibal, EJ the Mayor, Booby Smooth, they just start calling me, Duke Tango, they just started calling me the Bone, the Bone, Bone, the Bone.
Yeah.
And from there, the name has just, it just resonated. And what I'm very happy is, for now, is being that my past has been what is called rough, that I'm getting the notoriety for the effort that I put in to change that. That's what means the most. So kids know that, hey, they probably won't get a chance to, interview or talk to Kyrie about his mechanisms of basketball, but they can talk to me.
Yeah.
So, in hindsight, that name itself is like, it's bigger than the actual person. So,
right.
And that's why I want to keep it that way.
That's awesome, man. That's a great story, man. So, but wait, you kind of zoomed past you making somebody break their arm. Before you tell that story, do you remember the first time you made somebody like fall, break their ankle, so to speak?
Man, I've been doing that since I was.
You don't remember the
5.
first time it happened?
Nah. It just, you got to think about it. I've made someone fall every time I play for the last 40 years. Or, excuse me, let's see, I've been hooping for about over 20-something years. So, it's hard to remember everything.
Well, tell me about the arm breaking incident.
Oh, well, I remember that one. The guy was hand checking on the hip.
Yeah.
I put the ball, as his hand was out, I put the ball around his arm really fast so he could get his hands off my hip. And then as soon as he took his hand off my hip, I threw it through his legs. Okay. And then since his arm was up, he turned and he put this arm down, but he was turned the other way. So it snapped.
Oh.
Yeah. And he broke it. And they were like, everybody was freaking out. Like, how this dude, did he kick him? Or and I was like, man, I don't like to, give people threats, but it's very dangerous to guard me if you don't know what you're doing.
Right. Oh man. I've seen the video. It's crazy. Like every now and then on Facebook, I'll see a video of you crossing somebody up. Yeah. And I'll be like, yo, son. I'll just start watching it, and it just makes me reminisce of those days when I used to bootleg the N1 tapes.
And it's even more, special to know that you've supported it and it's still
man.
going.
What's with N1? Do you know anything behind the brand as far as what they're doing to move that culture forward, or are they kind of just?
I don't know the ins and outs of what they're doing to move the culture forward, but they are doing some big things right now as we speak with remodeling courts and setting up live events. I went to one recently with Kevin Garnett. It was dope. It was out in L.A. And they're not too far from here, where they repainted the court. They gave us, gave out gifts, and KJ gave a nice little speech. And I wish I was there prior to his speech, because I would have wanted to play the kids first and do that. But it was dope though. They're pretty much trying to revamp it.
That's cool as hell, man. Yeah, actually, that you mentioned Kevin Garnett. That's my favorite basketball player all time. All the time. Everybody say Jordan and LeBron and Kobe. I mean, I love them too, but it was just something about KG's game. He was just mad dominant, and not like Shaq, but still, it was just something about KG. Man.
Yeah, he was a monster. Yeah,
definitely, man. So what's new with you as far as like beyond basketball? Because we know you shake and bake on the court. You do that all day. But are you expanding your brand into different avenues?
Yep, I am working on a lot of different things. I just was featured on NBA Live video game.
Congrats, man.
I'm launching my new collab with my company Lasso. Collaborative
clothing line?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it right there.
Now.
Good stuff.
Signature line of shorts, what I'm wearing right now.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah. Working on some shoe deals that are not solidified yet, but some nice lucrative offers that are coming in from some big companies. I don't want to say any names because I signed non-disclosures.
That's fine.
I do personal training with NBA players. I just recently been working with James Harden, showing him a couple of things on some moves, some intricate moves for the NBA Live video game. And then I'll be training some NBA guys this summer. So when I say expanding my brand, I am, and I'm making sure as I do it. I don't want to, I like seamless camaraderie. So I don't want to, business is a tough world. I don't think that people know that. Business is, it's no emotion involved in it. And when there is emotion, business gets, shaky. So being that I am a young African-American man and I didn't learn the necessities of money and finances and what I should do at a young age, this is a good time for me to be dealing with this stuff now because I know exactly what I need to do and what I shouldn't do. And, the brand is growing. I got, support all over the world now.
That's great, man. Well, how do you feel about that? The fact that they don't teach us finance and business, at an earlier age, like in our school system and stuff like that.
No, I just think it's a part of the program, to be honest. A lot of things I won't say on camera when it comes to that, but I think that once you realize that you are involved in a program that is depriving you of information, it's your job to search for it.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah,
so.
and then the bumps in the road, which unfortunately you don't want to have to go through, you're going to have to. Until it takes people like us to, or not just us, but more people that are a little up in age, a little older, a little, more knowledgeable about that to enlighten them, like what we're doing now.
Right, exactly. That makes sense. So, is there any possibility you might have opportunity to play in the NBA in the near
There's
future?
always an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, how is it? Like, do you sign up for tryouts, or they got to call you and pick you?
I train NBA players, so I'm not allowed to discuss the process of how they go about doing it, but everything's always opportunity driven, so to speak. So there's always G League tryouts, there's always Summer League, there's always overseas, there's always a lot of different avenues to get to the league, and I'm going to keep myself in all of those avenues until I get there. And my thing is, getting to the NBA is a mentality.
Okay.
So really, if you're in there or out of there, if Iverson is in the NBA or out of the NBA, does it change the fact that he's Iverson? No. So that mentality is what I practice every day. I'm already there.
You know what I'm saying? So definitely, that's great, man. Nah, that's great, man. Now let me ask you a personal question. Did you mean to lose weight? Cause it's crazy. Like when I first saw you, you was kind of cocked like a pistol, And then I saw you yesterday, and I was like, wow, he lost weight.
Well, I had to trim down to. I'm 40, so I had to trim down to compete on the highest level I can against the athletes are changing to, they're everybody's flying around athletic and jumping and running around, and I'm personal when it comes to basketball, and I don't believe my man should score. Even if he does score, it should be tough,
Right.
So with the excess weight kept me from playing how I wanted to play on defense. So I lost weight to a lot of people down, really. So I can always be in front of them. Because obviously on offense, there's nothing. If anybody guards me, I personally know that they're going to get tortured.
Right.
So I use that energy for defense.
Oh, okay. And how was that process? Because I'm not going to lie, I struggle with losing weight. So what did you do? Did you just run all the time? Did you stop lifting weights?
Well, I play basketball 4 times a day. I work out 3 times a day. In a mix of all of that, I eat healthy. And to be honest, the easiest way for me to lose weight, the easiest way I lost weight is I would fast in the morning, and then I would use my fuel in something simple as, just a scoop of coconut oil for breakfast. Boom. And now your body learns to pull from other areas instead of what's in it already, what you're putting in it. It worked for me, not sure if it'll work for everyone, but it's a work in progress, actually. You have to, one thing about losing weight or changing your body is once you change it, you have to maintain it. So the hard part is not losing weight, it's keeping it off. You probably went up and down weight for your whole life. Right. That's how weight is. It's never going to be one way. So I figured let's be on the other side of that instead of me being, I got incarcerated a while back. So when I came home, I was 225. I was all big. I was still dangerous, but I wasn't agile as I should be. Right. So I'm just maximizing my athleticism and, those little tweaks. And not eating after 9 is always good too.
Yeah, that's the part I struggle with, because I sleep late. I go to bed 2 in the morning. So, once 1 o'clock hit, I'm like, damn, son, what happened?
And now they're making it easy for you to get food with all these different
Postmates, oh my God. I just ordered some shit from there last night. Yeah. Nah, yeah, but but it's like you said, it's a work in progress, my brother. Yeah. Okay. Well, do you see, and you also mentioned, you like music back in the day and stuff, and you get into art when you stop playing ball, but do you foresee yourself getting into music like seriously? Why? Because you're obviously not gonna stop balling, so that'll be music will be secondary.
I always let God, lay it out for me. I'm good at everything, I believe. So if it's laid out for me, I can walk in any area. So when you say taking the music industry serious, who knows? Mm-hmm. Who knows? Depending on, what avenue. I like to take a realistic approach. I don't want to say, hey, yeah, I'll do this, that, and the third. And music is it's a big market. Mm. So to take it serious, it's a stretch to take it serious. That means mixtapes, albums, blah blah blah.
Shows.
Yeah, shows. I mean, anybody can put a beat on and say some nice things, but can you carry a crowd? Can you do those things? So who knows? I've been able to do it on the court, basketball court. Who knows? I might be able to do it off the court.
Right. Well, I wish you much success with that if that time ever comes, man. Tell me, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? I see myself trying my best to get rid of this homeless problem in Los Angeles in 5 years.
Okay, that's good, man. Why is that? Why does that mean so much to you?
Because I had the privilege of knowing and getting close to some people that were in those situations, and some of those guys are my best friends. I went down there with a couple families, try to get them out of that situation. Seeing that they have been neglected and put in their own community of what is called misfits, so to speak, and the services that are allowed for them to succeed are a little, I would assume, I don't want to say bad, but I want to say not conducive to their situation. I think that things can be done different. I'm just going to go about my approach on how I can, and it's everything's in your eyes. It's right in your face. Staples Center's there, Skid Row's there. Right. You can see both differences. So I think that there has to be middle ground. So in 5 years, I hope I can do something with whatever influence I have to, fix that problem. Starting with, opening up facilities. I'm pretty sure there's always facilities down there, but where they have to go in and complete courses to have residents. They don't have to pay for residents. You have to complete rehab or complete certain, aspects of curriculum too. Just so they're always, doing something opposite of what they've been used to.
Right.
So 5 years, that's what I want to do.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I noticed the problem in the homeless, especially this area. I try my best, give them food. I gave them a bunch of clothes I don't use, just, just cause, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like, it felt good, but it's like, damn, is it really helping them? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They underneath the highway, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not, and, that's the hard thing for me is appreciation of a person or people has dropped. So there's a void for appreciation. If you're not popular, then people will feel like they're not worth much. So I don't think that's a good philosophy for kids to follow. So I'm gonna do my best to, burn that mindset away.
Yeah, I think, I noticed that, especially out here, man. Do you think social media plays a part in that, with people having, like, so many followers that in someone's mind it kind of like they're at a bigger status?
Yeah. I would say social media obviously does that. It creates separation. In some cases you have, kids who are, really or I would say not involved in the sport as much. They may like the sport, but they're not, die-hard athletes. They're just fans.
Right.
And because they have the ability to get online and say things about you from afar, not me in particular, but whoever, from afar, it creates distance between the connection between people, and especially if it's negative quotes. So you get someone in Wisconsin and someone in Maine, or in New York, or someone in Seattle and someone in Chicago. They don't even know each other, but they're able to verbally have a jousting match between each other. That creates negative energy, and that's if it's everywhere, then the problem is real. So You get what things like cyberbullying, and bullying is at an all-time high in the world we're living in. So those things affect the world we live in. So as an influencer, you know, you have a million people watching you do things. You need to be on your P's and Q's, number one, and you need to recondition the situation. And that's what I try to do with my channels.
That's good, man. Yeah, cyberbullying, I notice it is at an all-time high because I guess more people have access to you, and then if your skin ain't thick,
yeah,
you know,
it's gonna bother you.
No, I agree, man. So what was so back to the basketball stuff? You know, I feel like the conversation kind of took a toll, kind of got a little sad.
Yeah, it got real sad. Let's pep it up.
I know, right? So tell me, what was the toughest person you played against?
Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
He was Allen Iverson.
Okay. Oh, so he was already
yeah, this is 2001.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is after he crossed Jordan up.
Yeah, it was after that.
Mm-hmm.
Iverson. There's a few. All NBA guys. Gilbert Arenas, Kobe, all those guys. Tough players.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever been crossed up?
My dad used to do it all the time.
That's the only person.
I can't. There's no move I'm gonna go for, so it's impossible for me I believe, to get crossed up. Crossed up meaning how I do other people.
Nah, because I don't foresee that happening either. But just, you know, got caught reaching and then...
Oh, you're always gonna get. I mean, basketball is a game of. Do you playing defense? You should be getting crossed over. You should be.
Okay.
Yeah. So on that note, I mean, you should always, you know, you put yourself in positions to get crossed over. I learned from Muggsy Bogues. If someone raises the ball up and they cross it over, once the ball goes this way, it's a secret. Once it goes this way, it don't need to go down. That's when you can put your hand on the ball. So you want to get crossed, actually. So as soon as it goes, you got it. So remember when Iverson's crossover was real deadly, people started picking that crossover. Yeah. They wait for it to come here and reach around your body. I chose to take my mechanisms and switch that, where if you think you're going to reach across my body, I done threw the ball through your legs or somewhere you didn't even know where it was at.
Speaking of that, when we were on set yesterday and you threw the ball through my legs, I had somebody filming that and I posted it, and people do not believe I was acting. And they were like, oh my God, you got crossed up.
He was acting yesterday. It was a scene.
You see? I didn't get crossed up. I could play some ball, damn it.
Yeah.
Nah, but you're very talented, my brother. That's
I appreciate
awesome,
that.
Man. So what was that for yesterday? Because we were on set together. We were working. You were acting. Good job, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. That was a new show out. I signed a non-disclosure, but as soon as we shot the first episode, it is called Starized. Oh, excuse me, Starazzi.
Yeah.
And the show is basically, the premise is, can you be the paparazzi for the paparazzi? Can you interview the interviewers? Can you haggle the hagglers? Can you, the guys that are trying to ruffle up your feathers, can you ruffle their feathers? They want to ask me questions about, you know, if I'm going to the league, if I'm doing this, there's been situations I've been getting off planes, out of cars. They ask me all these questions, and I always thought to myself, let me ask you some questions. You know, in order to get the question answered, take the ball from me, or I'm not answering it. And you see what happens.
Yeah. That's
so
what's up.
It's a nice premise, and it brings a lot of light to things that the society in a whole is probably seeing but not embracing. The fact that paparazzi has, I want to literally say, ruined a lot of the most popular stars of our generation. It changed their lives. Yeah. So imagine if Michael Jackson had no paparazzi. You know.
Yeah, I hear that.
You know, certain things, you know, just to bring that light to it is what the show is about.
Yeah, so. I think the intentions behind the paparazzi person is what makes it good and bad. Because you got some people who just on the red carpet taking pictures, posting it, whatever.
Yeah.
But the ones that try to catch you doing something bad and sell it to the tabloid, the TMZ or whatever, that's the ones that you got to look out for. Because, you know, that's some water right there if you want it. Yeah. But, you know, I think the intentions behind the photographer, whoever's behind that camera, is what makes or break the paparazzi in a good or bad light.
I would agree.
You know what I'm saying? Have you ever thought about taking acting seriously?
No.
Nah. Why not?
I don't know. I just never tried. I will. I'm a big seasonal person. I don't put things out according to the times. You know, with that clock that we live under, I don't think it's right. So I keep myself at an even pace. So I'm never too fast or too slow. I'm always trying to quote unquote win. I don't think it's winning. I just think it's consistency. You just want to keep yourself. I'm good at what I'm doing, and I always will be because I wake up like an animal for it. And it's not regular for me. You know, I don't feel tired. I don't feel restless. I wake up like a machine. It's time to go torture, and then I go back to sleep, shut down, put my body on the charger, wake up and do it again. So, you know, in a nutshell.
Nah, that's what's up, man. You know, because I actually came out here to pursue acting, like I told you before, and I noticed that, like, it's like the backyard. Like, Hollywood is like your backyard, so the opportunity's there. But when I speak to people who are locals, it's like a lot of them, either they're in it 100% or they're not in it at all. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's right there. The opportunity's there. Like, why not give it a shot? But, you know.
Well, the thing is, if the opportunity's there, obviously, but you're in Hollywood. People probably walking around down there right now with scripts, reading them, sitting in coffee shops, trying to get noticed and so on and so forth. So it's a big pool. So I believe that I can act because I'm just be myself. I didn't even think about that. I might want to go into that. Thank you.
See, hey, my brother, hey, that's what I'm here to do, man. You know, I just birthed a new, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm on my way to acting school.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I believe anybody could do it because, you know, I did some independent films in Florida, but when I came here, I see how structured and how real it was, and it kind of, like, made me level up. But like you said, it is easy because you be yourself. Even if you're playing a different character, you're playing that character as yourself because it's like, it's what you bring to it that makes it shine. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So the hardest thing for me was just learning the lines. You know, I was already confident. I didn't mind being around people, in front of people, in front of the camera. You know what I mean? So I just had to learn my lines. You know what I'm saying? And know who I was playing and become one with that character. And that was it. So that's really all you need. But with your look, you know, you probably get typecasted. So you know what I'm saying?
Probably.
It's, you know, you can play that role all day.
All day.
Yeah.
Well, you know, one thing about it is, I believe that there's always you know, that's the challenge of each man and woman. Push yourself to, you know, see if you can step into different avenues and give it your all. So I think I'm gonna try to do that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And off camera, I'll give you some websites that I'm a member of that send you opportunities based on the
demographic.
The not demographic, but the criteria you fit. You know, whether you're 5'6", tatted up, skinny, dreads, braids, whatever, and then you just put that down. They send you opportunities of people looking for that.
Gotcha.
Oh,
that's dope.
Yeah. So that's what I came did here. Once I found that information, it's like 10 top websites. I joined all of them. You know what I'm saying? Had to, man, because this is what I do full time. You know what I'm saying? I did the 9 to 5. I worked sales for 10 years straight. Saved some bread. Met my girl. She doing her thing, so we came out here together and making it happen.
There we go.
So, you know, failure ain't an option for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it ain't for you as well.
Oh, no. You got to keep pushing.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Well, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think I have any more questions, man. I just think, you know, I wish you much success in what you're doing. It was a pleasure that I met you.
Keep
breaking those motherfucking ankles because we are enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? And I look forward to working with you in the near future, and whether it's helping with the homeless or helping you find some acting opportunities or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
I appreciate that. And one thing I want to say also, thank you for having me on the show. And you know, one thing I want the kids to know from just listening to this, if you don't take anything from this, remember that if you let God lead your life, you don't have to take the worst steps. He's going to show you the bad ones and the good ones, and then you'll be able to determine the two. It's happened in my life. Not sure if everybody can relate to that, but just food for thought. You know, let God lead you, and sometimes things will open up for you that you never thought.
I agree. It worked for me. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Sleep is for Billionaires, the podcast. I am your host, Johnny Vegas, the Bone Collector in the building. Stay tuned for more episodes to come. Thank you for watching. And cut it. Hey, look at that. You're a comedian now. That's you're going to get you on some comedic movies.
I didn't think about that. I could do acting shit too.
I'm telling you, bro. And they pay bread. They pay that bread. You know what I'm saying? And once you get into the union, oh my